Happy Tuesday, everybody. Trevor Howard here, coming at you with SoTellUs Time. I love Tuesday mornings. I love being with you. Troy and I love being with you, sharing our knowledge over 20 years of business experience. And I guess between the two of us, over 40 years of business experience, helping you guys navigate the ups and the downs, figuring out how to grow that business, how to deal with the professional and the personal. Well, as you can see, if you're on YouTube, it's just me today. I know, I'm so sorry. Let me apologize in advance. Troy is unfortunately out with COVID. Dun, dun, dun. Don't worry. He's okay. It's presenting in the form of a cold, and he just doesn't feel well, but he's going to be just fine. We're just taking it seriously and making sure that our employees and everybody is protected. So we're doing the 5 days that the CDC recommends, and he'll obviously get another COVID test to make sure that he is coming in negative before coming back to work. So he's not with us today. We wish him well. Troy, feel better, buddy. We miss you already. Trust me, everybody on here is missing you already. In fact, maybe, and hopefully not, they've already hit stop. They've already moved on. They're like, oh, it's just Trevor. I'm not listening to that. I know. Troy is the one that brings all the common sense into this podcast, and I'm the wild and crazy one, hopefully that entertains and helps you guys have fun while listening to us. So if you haven't clicked pause or moved on, we've got a really good one for you today. We're going to be talking about more. As entrepreneurs, we always want more, but more importantly, we're going to talk about perspective and stress, because stress is a killer of entrepreneurs. Let me tell you, stress is a killer. It will literally take guys out in their 40s because they have too much stress in their lives. Perspective. We need to have the right perspective in order to not over stress ourselves about business, because business is stressful. There are things we're going to deal with on a daily basis: hiring and firing of employees, marketing, billing, customers. It's all stressful, or it can be if we allow it to be. So let me jump right in and talk about, as entrepreneurs, we're always wanting more. Our desire is for more. And that's why we don't have a 9-to-5 job, 40 hours a week, working for somebody else. We're not happy. We're the happiest when we're moving forward and not standing still. In fact, working for somebody else, being controlled by them, would feel kind of like death, right? What drives us to work 100 hours a week for ourselves instead of working 40 hours a week for somebody else is that idea of building something that we can call our own. We own it, we control it, and that's awesome. The problem with the entrepreneurial personality is that we don't know when it's enough. We get in this mindset of more, and that spills into more, and more. Pretty soon we find ourselves keeping up with the Joneses and feeling pretty empty inside. I think that a lot of you will understand this. I do. I feel it all the time. When is enough enough? When are we going to feel happy and fulfilled in business? So I was just talking with a really good friend, and we're in two different places in life. He's an entrepreneur. Obviously, I'm an entrepreneur as well. And things aren't going as well for him. He's struggling with some things right now. He's struggling with his business. It's not where he wants it to be, and that's okay. And I told him, you can still find happiness, and you can still be, content. Not even content. I want to say happy. Let's say you can find happiness in the situation you're in. Because again, what would be your worst case scenario? And he's like, oh my gosh, sitting at a desk, making phone calls for somebody else, or out selling somebody else's business, product, whatever that was, service, and not building something for myself. And I said, okay, great. So you are building something for yourself, right? And he's like, yes. And I said, so then you're living your dream. He's like, well, yeah, that's true. I said, now maybe it's not where you want it to be, but it's what you want to be doing, right? And he's like, yes. And I said, okay, perfect. Now, for a little perspective, I was telling him about how when I was younger, and before I was even married, I was a janitor for a plumbing company. And you can imagine that's disgusting. So as the janitor, I got to tell you though, it was really stress-free. And I'd get up early, I'd go to work, I would work really hard. The people appreciated me. At the end of the day, I felt fulfilled as that I had accomplished something. And then I checked out. And I went on and got to have my time off and enjoy, whatever I was doing at that time. And so it was like I knew what I was doing every single day. I got it done. I accomplished my work. And then I got to check out at the end of the day. As entrepreneurs, it's not always like that. We're never done. We're always working 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter when I go on vacation. And if you follow us on social media, you see that I do like to vacation. And so I travel for work, but I also travel for fun. And even when I'm traveling, though, I'm always working. And I think most of you probably can feel that and understand that. But as a janitor, was it a glorious job? No. But was it a stress-free job? Yeah, it was pretty stress-free. And I look back and there's times throughout the years that I've said, man, I kind of just want to go back to being a janitor. Because as you guys know, being an entrepreneur, being the boss comes with a lot of stress. And so that can be overwhelming from time to time. And it's been nice. And so I was like, it was a simpler time in my life. Did I have the kind of money I have now? Did I have the kind of house I have now? Did I have the cars and the fun things and the toys? No, I didn't have any of that. But I also didn't have all the stress that comes with that. And if at the end of the day, we die way before we should have, what was it all for? You know what I mean? So early on in my business career, my entrepreneurial years, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a multimillionaire by the age of 25. And so I worked like that. I was at my office 24/7, building the company, never sleeping, never seeing my wife, and never being there for my 3 kids at the time. So by the age of 23, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm losing my marriage. I don't have a relationship with my kids, and I'm killing myself. I'm going to hit age 30 and probably have a heart attack. And so I had to reevaluate what was important in my business. When was enough enough? And what did I really want? Did I want these millions of dollars, but no one to share it with? What I wanted was my wife. What I wanted was my kids. And why I wanted the money was to better our life together. So I realized in the end, it wasn't worth it if I didn't have them. Now, over the years, as an entrepreneur, and you've all done this, right? Ups and downs. There's the ups and downs in owning a business. There are times that I have made a fortune, and there are times I have been poor, barely paying the bills. In fact, getting like a second job to pay those bills, scrimping and saving to make sure I can cover the rent or whatever it was. And so I can tell you from a perspective of up and down, high and low, rich and poor, I wasn't happier with the more money. I was more comfortable with more money, but I wasn't any happier personally because I was rich. And I look at my life now, and it's funny because I've got the house I want. I've got the car I want. I've got the, family I want. I've got the toys I want. I've got everything paid for. Things are going really well. And do I feel full? Well, if I look at it, it would be very easy to say, no, I don't, because I get into this motion of more, and more. And again, if I stop and think about it, when is enough enough? How is it that I can literally have everything that I was looking for and working for in my 20s, now in my 30s, and yet still feel like it's not enough. And the reason is because we get that whole idea of keeping up with the Joneses. It's got to grow bigger. And it may not even be about buying things, guys. It might be about your business growing. I want it to be bigger. I've only got 5,000 customers. I need 10,000 customers. I need 50,000 customers. I need 100,000 customers. Or my company only does $10 million a year. I need it to do $100 million a year, or whatever that is. Maybe it is stuff. I have the car I want, but I want a better car. I want a Maserati and I have a Tesla. Or we get into this mindset and this wheel, like a hamster on a wheel. And we're just running, and we aren't realizing that we actually have everything that we were looking for in an earlier time in our lives. And so just because we have more doesn't mean that we're content. It doesn't mean that we're stress-free. In fact, I would say from being poor to being rich, that money just makes life more stressful. I mean, I know the people who are in the grind right now listening to me are like, no way, I don't even believe that, Trevor. And then there's the people who are where I'm at, where it's like, it's not enough, I need more. And then there's the people where I actually truly am right now. So in my early 20s, I was like, I gotta do millions. And then I was like, oh, I don't have to do millions. I want what I want, which is my family. This is why I started the business in the first place. This is why I started doing what I was doing. This is why I work 100 hours a week, so I don't work 40 hours a week for somebody else. And then I got that. And now in my 30s, I was like my late 30s, okay? So my early 30s, I had what I wanted in my 20s. And then in my early 30s, I was like, but now I need this and I need that and I need my company to grow. And I need, I remember back when I had a couple hundred clients and I was like, oh my gosh, it'd be amazing to have 1,000 or a couple thousand or whatever. And it's like now I've got over 5,000 customers and I'm like, well, no, I need 10,000. I need 15,000. And I catch myself getting caught up in this wheel of more. I need more. And it drives you crazy. It puts the weight of the world on your shoulders when you truly don't have to. I don't have to. I can choose to either have that weight on my shoulders, weighing me down, stressing me out, and, by 40 having a heart attack. I'm 38 now. By 40 having a heart attack. Or I can look at it, stop, take a look at my life, and realize I am where I wanted to be when I was in my 20s. And now I'm in my late 30s and early 30s. I was like, but I need more. And in my late 30s, I'm like, okay, Trevor, it's time to calm down, slow down, take a breath, step back, and realize what I've done. And that I'm adding additional stress into my life, wanting to consume more. And it's not bringing me any additional joy in life. It doesn't bring anything added to me. In fact, at my greatest and highest points, I felt empty. I felt nothing, which was crazy. Everything was good in life, and yet I was feeling nothing, feeling numb. So I had to stop and realize and take myself through these steps to say, okay, what's important? What truly matters? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And am I going to get there currently doing what I'm doing? And for me, the answer was no, because I was going to stress myself out so much that honestly, I was going to end up having a heart attack. And you might think I'm crazy. I know several people that it's happened to, and it changes their lives. And I've had things happen in my life in the last 3 years, especially, that changed that whole perspective. I've had 2 back surgeries. I got COVID and pneumonia, landed in the hospital, black spots all over my lungs. I was coughing blood. I wasn't breathing. My oxygen level was at 60. They told me that if they couldn't get it up, actually they told my wife they couldn't get it up within I think it's 5 to 10 minutes, your organs start to die. It's been a crazy 3 years. And it's helped me to stop, slow down, and reflect on what's important. And so I actually really like this. So AA has this prayer. And it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So in talking with my good friend today, one of the things he was saying was how stressed out he was with, I've got to answer this phone call, and I got to get back to this person, and he was just like laying out all the things that had to be done right away. And it was way too much that it was never going to be done right away. And I knew that, he knew that, but he was putting stress on himself that it had to be done immediately. It had to all get done today, and it's not going to all get done today because it is months worth of work, and it will spiral into years worth of work because there will always be something that has to get done, and if you allow it, will feel like it has to get done today. And so I was telling him, I'm like, John, you got to think about this, bud. Like, if you can't control it or change it, why are you stressing about it, right? We have to learn to let things go. We have to learn what's important and that time is money. So where we spend our time is where we are going to be, making the most money in a way, right? So we spend our time there, and our time is money. And so if I am wasting my time on things that don't matter, I'm wasting money. I could be spending my time very focused and very intentional on certain things that then allow me to move on and then spend my time, energy, and efforts where I really truly want to spend them, which is with my family, right? And so that thing about not being able to, or not stressing about the things that we can't change, it's so important. He was like, well, but when somebody calls me, I feel like I have to get back to them right away. And I'm like, okay, well, is that going to ruin your business if you don't get back to that person right away? Is it something that has to be answered right away? And he was like, well, I mean, no, because basically my answer to him is I'm going to have to research this and let me look into that for you and let me figure out what the solution is. And I said, okay, great. So shoot them an email and let them know that, and then work on it tomorrow when you have time, because you don't have time. It's running around putting out the fires. We're not firefighters. Unless you're literally a firefighter, we are not firefighters. We didn't get into business to run around and put out fires. We got into business. Why? I got into business to make a better life for my family. I wanted more time with my family. And throughout the years, I found I wasn't spending that time with them. I wasn't accomplishing the things that I had started the business in the first place for. So today, it's all about really trying to help you guys gain perspective, stop stressing about the things that don't matter, put off tomorrow the things that don't need to be done today, right? So put it off. You can do it tomorrow. You can do it in a week, whatever that is. You will always have more work. And then just realize, am I accomplishing the goals that I set out to accomplish in the first place with building a business? And that can be anywhere you're at. I was saying to him, I'm like, the only thing left in my life that isn't paid for is my mortgage. And that I already have a game plan and will be paid off in the next 2, maybe 3 years, just depending on how things go, maybe even sooner. If nothing changes, for sure 3 years. I have plans that, we're going to keep growing and things are going to keep happening. But when that house is paid off, I was telling him, I'm like, it's so stress-free because think about this. I own everything in my life. My life could fall apart at that moment, and I wouldn't have to really change anything. Now, maybe I'd have to go get a job working for somebody else, and I know that sounds like death to all of us as entrepreneurs, but it would be fine, and I would still have everything that I wanted, which was ultimately my wife and my kids, time with them. In fact, I might even actually have more time with them at that point because I kick off at 5 p.m. and guess what? I am home and I don't have to think about it until 9 a.m. the next day. I might get more time with them at that point. So working towards our goals and realizing that we don't have to stress out over everything. And if we do and then kill ourselves by the age of 40 or 50, it was all for naught. Yeah? All right, guys. Well, let's get into the homework. What I want you guys to do this week is stop, breathe. Yes, breathe. Take a big breath. Take a moment to reflect on your business. Why did you start it? Ask yourself, why did you start it? What were your goals? When is it enough? What is enough and when is it enough? And then deal with the things that stress you out and ask yourself, is this going to break me? Is this going to kill me? Is this going to ruin my company? And if the answer to that question, when looking at things in your business, when feeling stress, the minute you start to feel stress, you should think this stuff. You should ask yourself these questions. The minute you start to feel stress about something, is it going to kill me? And if the answer is no, and if it's not going to ruin your business, then don't stress over it. Put it off. If it's stressing you out because you feel like you have to get it done today, then automatically just say, you know what, I'm going to get that done tomorrow. And today I'm going to focus on this and this, get those done and accomplished, feel great at the end of the day, go home and enjoy my wife and kids and or my husband and kids or my husband or my dog or whatever it is that you go home to. I'm going to go home and I'm going to have a great night instead of feeling stressed out at work, going home, fighting with your spouse, yelling at your kids, kicking your dog, whatever that is, and having a horrible night. Or like talking to another guy, getting punched drunk every night, knockout drunk because he doesn't want to deal with it. That is no way to live. And if that's the way you're living, then why are you doing this? Why do you have your company? You should just go get a job working for somebody else. You'll have less stress in your life. I can promise you that. I can go back to a simpler time when I was just cleaning floors, mopping floors, cleaning toilets. That was very stress-free and enjoyable. So if I was killing myself over this, then that's silly and ridiculous. I should just go back to doing what was stress-free for me. And still, I'm living. I might not have everything that I want, but at least I am alive. Because guess what? It's over when it's over. And it didn't matter what you did or didn't do when you're dead, what you did or didn't have when you're dead. So if you stress out so much over your company and the things that you're having, the decisions you're having to make, that it kills you, why did you do it? All right? So the real answer is, let's find some balance. Let's have some perspective on life. Let's not worry about more and more and more and more. Let's not worry about the future. Deal with what you can deal with now and enjoy it. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was helpful. I know that it was helpful for me. I've gone through this many, many times throughout my career. I've had to remind myself of these things. I've had to get the perspective. I've had to let the stress levels drop. And I've had to realize I don't want more crap, more toys, more house, more car. That stuff doesn't make you happy. If you're not happy, you're not going to be happy with that stuff. If you're not happy right now, you're not going to be happy. If you're not happy in the Ford truck, you're not going to be happy in the Maserati. Because guess what? When you finally get to the Maserati, well, now you're going to want a Bugatti. Right? We've got to learn to be content and enjoy the journey. All right, guys. Well, thanks for spending your time with me on another episode of SoTellUs Time. I hope it was helpful. I know that if you listen to it and you implement it, it will be stress relieving, like a good massage. All right, everybody. Have a sensational day. We'll see you next week. Don't worry. Troy will be back, and then it won't just be me ranting and raving at you. I see you guys on the next episode of SoTellUs Time.